Hey there, guys. It is Kate here from HelloFunnels.co, and welcome to the Doing It Online podcast. Today, we are talking, we're getting kind of nerdy. So get your nerd glasses on, get a pen and paper. We're going to be talking about some of my favorite things, which is spreadsheets and tracking and metrics. And I know that, that will send a lot of people off to sleep, just even hearing that. But for anyone who is really wanting to grow, really wanting to scale and do it in a way that is intentional and profitable and enjoyable, then these things need to be done. And we're keeping it simple. We're just talking about 3 things that I would focus on. I know there's a million things you could track, but it's we'll be focusing on that I did focus on and that we get our clients to focus on if you're really wanting to scale. So let's jump right on in. Alrighty, guys, now before we kick off today's episode, I just wanted to share something really exciting, and that is that we have just opened the doors for our brand new program called eCourse Elite. Now, this is a high-touch 12-month mentorship program for 6-figure course creators who are looking to scale to high 6-7 figures and beyond. But they want to do it in a way that is actually reliable, sustainable, intentional, profitable, and preferably as automated as possible. And that is what we show you. We're going to show you the 3 systems that you need to install into your business, how you do them one by one and they stack on top of each other, and how that creates amazing growth, as well as creates a really solid, reliable foundation that just makes business a lot more enjoyable too. So if you want to find out all of the details, if you want to grab yourself one of the seats, because this is the first time we are running it, we're keeping numbers super low so we can make sure we get in there and over deliver, then head to hellofunnels.co/elite, get all the details, put in your application, and hopefully we will see you inside really soon when the doors open. So once you've done that, you've done it, good, then come back and let's dive into today's episode. So as I mentioned, there are 3 things that I recommend as we get our clients to do this, that I recommend everybody is tracking once they are sort of at that multiple 6-figure mark, to help them to go beyond that. I don't recommend that these necessarily all things you track from the start. I'll sort of let you know for each one. But these are definitely things you need to be paying attention to, that you need to have some sort of dashboard, or, whether you have a VA who even just sends you the numbers. We have dashboards that we give our clients. So this kind of, we call it the CEO system, that they just get to set it up once and it all comes together and it just gives them these reports that they need and these top line numbers that they need to focus on. So very first thing that we get you to focus on, and again, this one particularly is not for beginners. This one is only to be done at the right time in the right way. But the metric we want people tracking when they are at that sort of mid-6 level, wanting to scale, is, does your marketing pay for itself, or at least for most of itself? Because it will vary depending on your niche and your offer and etc. But for most of the clients that we work with, they should be able to get at least like an 80% of their marketing costs covered immediately by that marketing. So this is a really, really crucial step. It was one of the biggest game changers for us, and it is also for our clients when implemented properly. But it is also one of the most problematic strategies I see out there, because people are trying to do it in the wrong way and or at the wrong stage of business. So if you install this system into your business at the right time with the right, other setup, if you do it the right way, this can be like a game changer. This can basically mean you now have a switch that you can flick whenever you like, as much as you like, and you can start growing as quickly as you like, and it doesn't cost you anything because your marketing is paying for itself. Do it at the wrong time, however, and in the wrong way, it just becomes a massive distraction. And you have people spending months and months obsessing over getting this thing working, and it's not even giving them any profit. Again, even if it is working and paying for itself, if you don't have the systems behind it to then be making sales in a regular, reliable way, if you don't either have a funnel or, a really dialed in launch system, or both, then all you're doing is actually quite a slow way of list building. It's not actually making you any money, and it's just taking up a lot of your time. So this is, one of those strategies that I really, really love when you do put in, and you can do it quite quickly. Like the way that we teach it, we kind of go through a 5-day process, and at the end of that 5 days, it should be up and running. And then it's a bit of tweaking and testing. But for most people from then on, it's just monitoring ads and testing some new ads. But done at the wrong time, as I said, it can set you back months because you've not, because your business wasn't ready. You didn't have those other pieces in place. So as far as monitoring it and tracking those numbers, what you really want to know is how much you've spent on ads for whatever time period, whether you're doing it, I wouldn't recommend doing it daily because things fluctuate, but weekly, monthly, and then how much of those self-liquidating offer sales, those first sales, whether it's a downsell, again, there's different ways of doing this. And we like helping to advise people to choose the ones that work best for them, for their offers that feels really good for them, not just kind of like a cookie cutter approach, but that whatever that sort of self-liquidating offer is, how many sales you've got, like how much revenue you've earned from that, and then what is the percentage? So is it a positive percentage, a negative, and how much? And I said the goal really is, like ideally, perfect world, it's 100% covered, if not a little bit more, so that can help you to scale up your marketing. It's like making you money, but in a realistic world with ads the way they are these days, even 80% covered. So that means that what maybe you were getting like $10 leads, $15 leads before, and now they're like costing you $3 or $4. Even that in itself, and particularly when you have a proper system behind it, which then is making you 5,000, 10,000, whatever with the next sale, it still gives you a lot more room to grow. Like I said, it's that switch that you can flick and you can really start revving things up. So that's metric number 1. Does your marketing pay for itself? And in what percentage does it do that? The second thing that you need to track, and this is something that takes a little bit more time to set up. Again, it's another part of our CEO systems dashboards that we give to our clients and get them to set up right up front, but is you need to know, and this is particularly for those of you who have premium offers, but it still works for a signature course. It's still really important, but you need to know how long and how much contact does your dream client need before they buy? Because every client is different, every niche is different, every offer is different, and everybody will have the clients who actually need a slightly different journey. Like we always teach sort of what is the, what's the gold standard, get the gold standard in work and working, but then it's like, okay, now how do we sort of monitor that and see how your clients move through that gold standard, and how do we then make optimizations and tweaks to make this work even better for you and for them. But you need to know when you are planning, particularly if you are planning on focusing on going really evergreen, as automated as possible. This is so important to know, because, and I'll give you an example of this, because you might be thinking, what were you even talking about? But is, for example, some offers, a lot of people will come in, like we have clients who are like this, and they'll find that 80% of their sales come from people who have been on their email list for less than 7 days. So brand new people. So that means that with that type of offer and that type of market, it's obviously clear enough. It's obviously a big enough pain point, and the price and the value exchange is there so that people are happy when they go, oh, great, there's a solution. I've been looking for this solution. Let's go. Other people with their offers, they find that actually the majority of their clients have been on their email list for 6 months or more. Now, the thing with that is that if you are one of these people who your clients do need a bit more warming up, then you might look at the numbers, say if you had an initial funnel and your numbers, your sales would probably be quite low, and you'd be like, well, this funnel's not working for me. But actually, the funnel is working. It's going to convert those people coming through, who that 10, 20% people coming through who are ready now. That is going to help you pay for more marketing. But that you need to then still have more touch points to allow the people to get that know, like, trust factor, that 80% of people who need that bit more reassurance, that knowing you a bit better before they will purchase. So it's just about knowing these numbers, and the way that you do it, like it's just a simple spreadsheet that you can set up that as people come through, it starts to dump the data and then you can start analyzing it. But you need to know that, like, when people purchase, how much time did they need? How much trust did they need to build? And how much contact did they need as well? Because again, if you're trying to map out your perfect marketing journey for your ideal clients, and figure out how you can do that in a way that's as systemized, as streamlined as possible. Like you might go, okay, well, most people who purchase had been in through 3 different things. They'd been to an automated webinar and attended 2 launches before they bought. Okay, great. Well, now we know they need multiple touch points. How can you make that system work for you? So really important to know, as I said, and the reason is not just for designing it so that you can set your expectations when you are setting something up and say, look, the purpose of this webinar isn't actually to make conversions right now. It's to add an extra tick in the trust box, add some extra coins into that so that your client trusts you more when you launch to them in a month's time. So this is the kind of stuff that if you are looking to scale, that you need to start doing. You can't just be chasing the strategies that convert day one, because that's not always going to be actually the best strategy for your growth. It will get you some people, but that might be, if you keep focusing on that, going, why am I getting sales in the first 7 days? And most of your clients need 30, 60, 90 days. You're never going to move past that point. You're only ever going to convert that 20% rather than converting the 80%. And you want to focus obviously on that bigger number too. All right. The third thing that you really need to be tracking here, and again, this one is a bit boring, and if you can outsource it to someone on your team, if you have that sort of level of trust with them, I would, but you need to make sure that you have a budget, and it doesn't have to be like a crazy complicated one, but that you, within that budget, you're giving yourself enough space to be investing enough to be able to grow. Because if you don't invest in your business, if you're wanting to grow, it won't grow. You're just, we spoke about this in our last week's episode, but it is one of those most really common mistakes I see people making. They get really scared about spending more and spending before, they kind of think, I'll start making money first and then I'll spend more. But you actually have to usually spend more to get that next level of income. And again, I'm not talking about going into debt. I'm not talking about being irresponsible. I'm talking about sitting down at the start of the year, knowing your numbers well enough to go, okay, well, I think we should pretty safely make X number of sales. That's what this is going to look like from a marketing perspective. And if we do make this number of sales, how much do I then need to be spending on team, on marketing, on our own growth? And I'll actually give you a quick little breakdown now. And I know there's lots of people out there, and I'm obviously not an accountant, I'm not a financial advisor. This is just a ratio that we've used ourselves, that I've been advised on a version of this and heard very similar versions of this from multiple people who I really respect. So take this, make it your own. Everyone's will be slightly different, but this is roughly the ratios of investment that we recommend, particularly if you are sort of in that sort of 6-figure range already, wanting to grow. So first of all, owners pay, profit, whatever you want to call it, but basically the money that you take out of the business should be around 30%. Some people make that a bit less, some people make it a bit more. Again, feel free to fiddle with these slightly. Team costs, about 25%. Marketing costs around 25%. Now, those two are ones that some people go, I want to spend more on marketing and less on team, and vice versa. It depends on, again, size of your organic traffic, all of that stuff. So you can kind of play within that 50% to the team and marketing to make those ratios work best for you. Education and coaching, 10%. A lot of people don't have this as a line item, but you need to be, particularly if you're in a stage of growth, you need to be investing in yourself, in your knowledge, in your support, in your feedback loop, making sure that you are getting that next level one, that you are learning the next things you need to know to get to where you want to go. And then operations costs, another 10%. So that's things like paying for your software, your tech, any postage or whatever, depending on what it is that you've got. So that the physical cost of running your business, your website hosting, all of that. So to go through that again, in case you were kind of writing it down, you missed anything, owners pay 30%, team cost 25%, marketing cost 25%, education and coaching 10%, operation costs 10%. So like I said, feel free to, tweak those slightly to make them work better for you. But that's a really good baseline budget to set yourself. Make sure you're checking in with that every month Some months will fluctuate. You don't have to be super, super strict on it, but just make sure the trend is keeping you within those buckets. And, realize for a lot of people, I find that when they kind of do actually sit down and work it out, they go, oh, actually, I was not spending or investing anywhere near enough in like my marketing or my team. And that was actually a thing that was stopping them from getting to that next level, because they needed that team. They needed that extra marketing to be able to grow. So if you've been nodding along to this, guys, if this has been like, oh, I'm not doing this, or I need to do this, or this is going to make a super big impact on my business, then you're probably going to love our new program, as I mentioned at the start, eCourse Elite. It's a brand new program. It's for 6-figure course creators who are looking to scale to that multi-6, high 6, 7s, helping you to set up and install those 3 systems that you need to get there, and give you oodles and oodles of support, feedback, templates, everything you need to be able to do it as easily and stress-free and as enjoyably as possible. If you want to come and grab one of those last seats, go to hellofunnels.co/elite. All the details are there. Put in your application. As I mentioned, we are only keeping this intake really, really small and intimate, guys, because we want to come in and over deliver, make sure this program is as amazing as possible, so our founding members will get so much. Like, if it was me, I'd always want to come into a founding member round, because you're going to get loved up to the moon. So head to hellofunnels.co/elite, grab the details, get in your application, and we can't wait to see you inside. Bye.